We are wondering if the IPR always protect consumer and producer rights.
We took Alyonka chocolate as an example to consider. Chocolate Alyonka is a milk chocolate which has been produced since 1965, firstly in Soviet Union and later in Russia.
Alyonka, Alyonka, ты шоколадная девчонка. These are the words of the popular Russian rap song, which was dedicated to this very popular chocolate bar with this nice little girl on the cover. But that rapper didn't know that this chocolate bar was a special Soviet government operation. In the early 1960s, the USSR government adopted a new food program in which special attention was paid to the creation of mass, affordable milk chocolate. At various factories in Moscow, experiments began on the creation of delicious chocolate. In 1964, confectionaries at the Moscow factory Krasny Oktyabr developed a suitable recipe. It was simultaneously introduced into the production at the Rotfront factory and then at many other confectionery factories. The first Alyonka was Babayevskaya, a girl wrapped in a blue scarf pictured on a cover, and two frontline mouth-wrapped girls with a watering can and a girl with a dog and a bunny. The chocolate was named after a daughter of the world's first woman astronaut, Valentina Tereshkova Yelena.
Until 1964, Alyonka, being produced by Krasny Oktyabr, did not have a permanent cover. Initially, chocolates were produced with different images and different colors of cover. As a result, the factory decided to develop its corporate portrait of Alyonka. It was suggested that the picture of famous Russian artist Vasnetsov Alyonushka will be used in the cover design. But this idea did not receive support, and then the factory management through the newspaper Evening Moscow announced a competition for a photo of a girl who would subsequently become a theme of the new chocolate design. The competition was won by a photo of Aleksandra, honored worker of culture of the Soviet Union, which he took in 1960. The photo depicted his 8-month-old daughter of Gerenas Yelena in a silk scarf.
In February 2000, an adult Elena Gerenas filed a 5 million rubles lawsuit against Krasny Oktyabr to protect copyright infringement, demanding compensation and a license agreement. The court lasted for more than 2.5 years, and as a result, after a portrait and art expert examination, it became known that in 1965 the artist Nikolai Masov repainted the photograph and changed the eyes cover. The shape of mouse and line of sight, though the court came to the conclusion that the image on Alyonka chocolate label is a new independent work.
Since the late 60s, Alyonka has been produced by many confectionery factories throughout the Soviet Union. But at the time of perestroika and privatization, only Krasny Oktyabr registered the trademark. Hence, this led to the appeal of the United Confectionery Holding to the Federal Anti-Monopoly Service with a request to stop using this brand of chocolate at the Krupskaya factory in St. Petersburg. The reason was a break in the copyright and the law on protection of competition by Krupskaya factory. Despite a slightly different name, the different design and wrapping pattern of the St. Petersburg chocolate, as well as the St. Petersburg side statement about the use of Soviet recipes, the decision was taken in favor of the Moscow manufacturer. Krupskaya factory was also fined about 2.1 million rubles for unfair competition.
The appeal decision was made by the Moscow Arbitration Court on June 17. The court forbade Slavyanka to produce Alina chocolate. In addition, the court decided to recover 300,000 rubles from Slavyanka. Initially, the requirements of Krasny Oktyabr reached 5 million rubles. Slavyanka produced Alina chocolate, the packaging design of which, according to Krasny Oktyabr, is similar to the extent of mixing with the Alyonka chocolate label. The representative of the factory Krasny Oktyabr, in support of his position, referred to opinion polls. Results were shocking. According to them, more than 51% of consumers believe that the packages of the chocolate Alyonka and Alina are identical. Since June 2011, Slavyanka fully stopped producing this chocolate.
An excellent solution was found by the brand managers of the confectionery company Rabczun, which almost exactly copies the Soviet-style packaging design.
My i wy, my to oni, my.
They have this chocolate called Alyonka and not Alyonka, and the girl is not blue-eyed and fair-haired, but a dark-eyed brunette in yellow scarf. But a nostalgic audience aged 45 and older is perceived as the same Soviet Alyonka. So those who are cunning and diabolically smart can make money on the brand even without rights to own it. Although it smacks of plagiarism in the Chinese manner. What's more, the Russian has been already caught on stealing brand name and copying the cover of chocolate bar.
Так, нам надо сделать опрос. Тут есть девушка, сейчас мы кого-нибудь позовем, да?
У нас есть фотографии всех оберток, есть Аленка, есть девушки. Смотрите, если бы вы увидели вот эти вот все шоколадки в магазине, вы бы подумали, что это один и тот же шоколад, просто в разной обертке?
Я бы так подумала,
Да,
точно.
да, скорее всего.
Стопроцентный ответ. Идем дальше.
Załóżmy, że pan jest w sklepie. Jak pan uważa, czy to są te same czekolady po prostu w różnych opakowaniach, czy jednak nie?
Tak, według mnie jest to ta sama czekolada.
Девушки, я так понимаю, вы из Украины, да?
Да.
А вы когда-то кушали Оленку, которая от Рошена?
Конечно.
Да.
Вот.
да.
А теперь смотрите, мы в Познане нашли Красный Октябрь. Вот возьмите, просто попробуйте по кусочку. Там. Мне интересно ваше мнение.
Думаю, они будут похожи.
Ну вот,
Посмотрим.
посмотрим как раз, да.
Думаю, одинаково.
Значит, и вы чувствуете какую-нибудь разницу? То есть это лучше, чем рошеновская?
Ну да, мне однозначно больше нравится. А тебе?
Это намного лучше. Да, согласна. Совсем
Вот.
по-другому.
И вот теперь скажите, повлиял ли опыт Оленки от Рошена на ваше отношение к бренду Аленка?
Ну да, я теперь буду знать, что это не один и тот же бренд, например.
Угу.
По моему мнению, визуально они, конечно, мало чем отличаются, но главную роль играет вкус, и в этом случае он намного лучше.
Угу. А тебе?
Как по мне, так эта шоколадка намного вкуснее, и вообще она повлияла на мое восприятие фирмы Рошен, так как они скопировали просто формат.
Угу.
И получилось не так вкусно.
Окей. Спасибо вам, девочки.
Załóżmy, że pan kupił jedną z tych 7 czekolad i ona się panu nie spodobała. Czy później by pan kupił taką samą czekoladę w innym opakowaniu, czy nie?
Niestety nie kupiłbym takiej czekolady, gdyż przyzwyczajam się do opakowania, do tego jak ten design wygląda. Nie kupiłbym takiej czekolady.
To dziękuję panu bardzo za opinię. Dzięki.
Видите, как ей нравится, да?
So, the chocolates are pretty similar if it comes to cover. It may seem that different covers were used at different time intervals or just for different markets. Lawsuits were filed against St. Petersburg's and Belgrade's fabrics. Afterwards, these companies haven't tried to do this anymore.
While Russian still releases the cheap copy of Krasny Oktябрь Alyonka, it misleads consumers, which in turn damages the reputation of trademark. The question is, why Krasny Oktябрь does nothing about it? Frankly speaking, I don't know. Moreover, the situation was the same as about Alyonka, which in turn had a bit different picture, a bit different name, which does not change the point.
Interesting fact, trademark Olenka was registered in 2008 in both Ukrainian trademark register and BIPOS. But Alyonka of Krasny Oktябрь was registered in the early 90s in the Russian National Trademark Register and in 2007 in BIPOS. From 2008 on, no lawsuit was filed against Рошен by Krasny Oktябрь.
We can only assume that given how businesses are made in Russia and Ukraine, as well as different scandals with Poroshenko itself, the main reason are concealed agreements between both companies. For example, if Roshen doesn't pay officially for license, then Krasny Oktyabr doesn't pay taxes from licensing Alyonka, which benefits both companies.
Considering all the given situations and facts, we concluded that IPR not always may be effective in protecting consumer rights. If it comes to protection of producer rights, it depends whether Krasny Oktyabr has an agreement with Roshen or just can do nothing about it. And if so, then it shows inefficiency in protection both consumer and producer rights.
Alyonka, ты шоколадная девчонка, губы намазаны сгущенкой.